Every day, we lift many things, picking up pieces of lumber, boxes of locks and other products, doors, windows, molding, wood scraps, banding, nail guns, and other tools. In the office, we pick up boxes of parts and supplies, reams of paper, and a lot of small items such as a dropped file. Although the weight of an object certainly impacts whether we hurt ourselves lifting, one can hurt themselves lifting very light items if they don't use good lifting techniques. 1/4 of all workers' compensation claims nationwide are a result of back injuries. Low back pain is the second most reported reason for employees missing work, second only to the common cold. So it is obvious that many people do not use good lifting techniques. This training program has been produced to instruct you on the proper technique to use both at work and at home when you lift. First, let's take a lesson from the professional athletes. They wouldn't even think about playing their sport without warming up. If you will be lifting a lot in your job, you also shouldn't start performing your work without warming up. The low back rotation stretch is done by standing with your hands on your hips, stabilizing the hips and legs, and gently rolling your upper body forward to the right, backward, and then to the left, making a circle. Do this 5 times slowly, making the circle a little bigger each time. Then repeat this going in the opposite direction. Now let's talk about proper lifting techniques. First, evaluate the item you are to lift. Try to push it. If you can't push it, don't try to lift it. Even though the item may not be that heavy, if its size or shape makes lifting awkward, get help. Don't try to be macho and try to lift something that is too heavy or too awkward for you. Get some help, a dolly, a cart, a forklift, or someone to help you. Also, you shouldn't let anything you lift obstruct your vision. If you know that you are able to safely lift the item, make sure the pathway you'll be following is clear and free of any debris, trip hazards, or slick surfaces. As you prepare to lift the item, get as close to the object as possible. Use a wide stance with 1 foot forward and to the side of the object for good balance. Keep your back straight, push your buttocks out, and use your legs and hips to lower yourself down to the object. Put the hand that is on the same side as the forward foot at the furthermost point on the side of the item. Put your other hand at the closest point on the other side of the item such that your hands are on opposite corners. Make sure you have a firm grip on the item. Then tighten your stomach muscles. Keep your back straight. Make sure your line of vision is parallel to the floor or ground, and then slowly lift with your legs. Do not jerk the item up. Keep the load close to your body and turn with your legs and feet, not with your back. When setting the item down, reverse the technique, keeping your feet spread with one leg in front of the other, then slowly lowering the item by bending your legs and keeping your line of vision parallel with the floor or ground. If you use this technique and don't try to lift more than you are able, you should avoid back injury. In this program, we also want to mention some tips regarding lifting some specific products that we handle frequently here at Zeeland Lumber and Supply. When pulling a good number of pieces of trim, if they are stored vertically, pull all the pieces out, keeping them vertical and together in front of you. Walk backwards, letting the bundle of trim slide down your shoulder until an equal length is both in front of you and behind you. Raise the elbow of the arm holding the trim up as that the bulge of your muscle on your shoulder, making it more comfortable for you to carry the trim on your shoulder. If the trim is stored horizontally, pull the trim out about halfway. Let it rest on your shoulder and walk forward carrying the material on your shoulder. Make sure the bundle is equally balanced on your shoulder with the same length in front of you as in back of you. As mentioned before, when you need to turn, turn with your legs and feet, not at your waist. When carrying windows, you can probably carry a double, but never try to carry a triple without getting some help. If you try to carry a triple, there's a very high chance that you will injure yourself and also possibly damage the window. If you need to move the sliding door or a large exterior door, get some help. The risk of injuring yourself and damaging product is not a risk worth taking. A sheet of plywood, because of its size, can be a little awkward to lift. To safely lift a sheet of plywood, you should slide the sheet partially off the bundle. Lift the side closest to you up and then grab the bottom side with your other hand. Your hand should be centered along the long side of the sheet, and you should keep your hands and arms close to and in line with your body. If you are pulling a sheet from down low, the technique is the same, except that you need to kneel down when grabbing the sheet and lift with your legs once you have a proper grip on the plywood. If the plywood you are pulling is finished hardwood plywood, make sure you don't drag a corner across another sheet. If you do, you will close the grain on that sheet, and the builder will get very frustrated when he goes to stain that piece of plywood, especially if he has already used it in a custom cabinet that has already been installed. To summarize, by following a few basic steps, you can greatly reduce the risk of a back injury. Loosen up before you start your work each day. Evaluate the item to be lifted and get help if it's too much for you. Make sure your path is clear, have secure footing and a balanced stance. Squat down to the item, bending with your legs, not your back. Lift slowly, not jerking the item, and keep your line of vision parallel with the floor or ground. When turning, turn with your feet and legs, not at your waist. Make this technique your habit, and it will be a habit that will help you avoid some very uncomfortable back pain. Thank you for your attention to this program, and thank you for your work, and thank you for working safely.